God will use leaders who are willing to proactively embrace change before they have to. Before it hits their pain threshold, they're actually anticipating and valuing and looking for change, because the work that God does in them ultimately will end up through them. You're going to change me, Lord, and then you're going to use me in being a change agent. I think one of the things that keeps us from change and keeps us from sustaining change is really understanding the process of change. So here's what I want to give you, a very realistic process of what change really, really looks like, all right? Starts with this. I'm just gonna call this normal, all right? So you're going along your normal life and something changes. And we'll represent that with like addition, subtraction. Something was given to you, something was taken away from you. That's a change. Something's given to you. Maybe it was something given to you didn't want. Maybe it was something given to you did want. Even good things in your life, blessings, are stressful. It's change, right? Blessings are change, and they're stressful. You get a promotion, it's more responsibility, it's new territory, it's change, it's stressful. You get a new member of the family, it's a blessing, it's wonderful, it's stressful, it's change. You get more money, it's good, in general, it's good, but more money, more problems, a great theologian, Biggie Smalls, stressful. Subtraction is stressful, something taken away from you. Sometimes it's addition by subtraction. It's okay to lose some stuff. It's okay to lose some people. It's okay. There's sometimes it's okay to lose, but it's a change, it's different. And sometimes you had something pried out of your hand, or something tragically changed in your life. You lost something. So there's an addition, a subtraction, good or bad, causes the process of change to be introduced into your life. The next phase after the change is actually what I'm gonna call it disorientation. Disorientation. I'm disoriented by the change. Something changed, something's lost, something's gained, something's new, and the disorientation is just not clean and neat. It's, I'm going up and down, and sometimes I'm going backwards, and it sometimes feels like being lost in the woods and chaos. Is like, man, I think I'm going in circles here, all right? And this can be anything from, changes that you're making in your physical body, changes that are happening in your career, or this could be actually deeper than that. This might be emotional trauma. Something has been unearthed. You learned how to suppress it. You learned how to cope with it, to push it down. Something now, an event in your life, an addition, subtraction, brought it to the surface. It bubbled out. And so now I'm trying to deal with it. They told me I needed to talk to a counselor. They told me that I needed to rip off the scab and to suss out the wound and to do all of that. And now I'm in the state of disorientation. Here's the problem with this phase, is that the process of disorientation doesn't feel anything like growth. It doesn't feel holy. It doesn't feel like discipleship or leadership development. It doesn't feel like anything good. At best, it's confusing. At worst, it's excruciating. And so what happens in the disorientation process is most people conclude, I gotta get out of here. And so what they do is they look for an off ramp, okay? An off ramp to try to get back this way. I'm gonna try to get back to normal. Now, this could show up with something like this. I'm trying to change my health habits, so I'm changing what I eat, and I'm changing how I work out, and I do, and it's getting tough, and I'm not feeling it anymore. My body hurts, and and I don't enjoy it, and I worked out, and I flossed with quinoa, and I did like everything they told me to do. I ate kale. I ate a kale smoothie, okay, and I gained a pound. I'm done. I'm out. I'm going back. I'm quitting. So it's everything from quitting like that, or let's say you start digging up some real stuff, some serious pain you have maybe for decades just sort of done your normal, and something brought it out, and now you're talking about it, and now you're dealing with it, and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm looking for an off-ramp. The off-ramp provides momentary relief, but what it really is taking reality and pushing it down and it's called denial. I'm denying. And I'm gonna tell you, you start taking the denial off ramp, there's no end to how much denial you can do. Not only am I denying it's a problem or denying it, I'm denying all the trouble it's creating both in and through me. I'm in denial of how much I'm hurting other people. I'm in denial on all of it. So you push it down, you just gotta know it doesn't work. If you push those things down, they go subterranean, they become volcanic. They are coming out, they will come out, they come out all kinds of ways. Addictions, okay, depressions, all these different things. You push it down, it's disorienting, off ramp. You can do that. It's a free country. You're a grown up. You can pick the off ramp. You can try to live there. Sometimes you got to go there. By the way, I get it. Sometimes you got to take an off ramp to catch your breath, but you got to understand, I got to get back into the disorientation. What in the world do you do with the disorientation? How do I get out of there? Because I can't spend the rest of my life there. 3 things you do in the disorientation. You pray, you process, you persevere. You pray, you process. By process, I mean you talk it out with wise, mature, godly people. Pray, Lord, give me the strength to make it through today. Lord, help me see what I can't see. You pray, you process, and then you persevere. And then once after you persevered, you pray. And then you pray, and then you process. I got to process my prayer and my reality, and then I just keep going. I keep persevering. And if you'll pray, process, and persevere, and keep doing it, ask, seek, knock, stay in the chaos. I know it doesn't feel like growth, but it's part of the process. Stay in there, and the more you do that, eventually you'll start getting revelation. God will start showing you things, and that revelation will lead you now to this, orientation. So I went from disorientation to now orientation. I'm starting to ask good questions, and I'm starting to get some answers. What do I believe? What did I believe? What do I believe now? Who was I? Who am I? Who do I even want to be? You start to come to some answers. And through this process of revelation, you start to orient. And as you orient, you start to stabilize. And as you stabilize, you start to stabilize around things like this. Peace. I said peace, not bliss. Not bliss. This isn't Disney. This isn't, then they lived happily ever after. No. This is peace. Like sometimes you come to peace with, I don't have the answer. I've been asking the question. I release some emotion. I'm wrestling with God. I told God what I really think. I had a dark night, a sleepless night, a painful night, but the sun came up. I got back into the disorientation. I took an off ramp. I sat there for a little bit, then I got back on the disorientation. And what happens is you start to come to peace with sometimes ambiguity, sometimes grief and loss and reality. And you start to get now into a new normal. And that new normal starts to stabilize into words like peace, like this, healing. Maybe it wasn't all restored to you. Maybe your heart was healed in the process. Getting to a healthy place. It's stuff like this. Maturity. Stuff like this. Wisdom. Okay? Stuff like this. Strength. I start to develop strength. This is a muscle. James, the book of James, chapter 1, says this in verse 2-5. It says this, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Okay. This right here, disorientation, this process, is a testing of your faith. Because when I'm here and when I'm here, I can't see this over here. I can't see it. And frankly, I've been in the spot where I was here, where I imagined all of the possibilities of what this could be, and none of them felt worth it. The testing of your faith. I don't know what's here. What is faith? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I can't see all this. What gets me in here? Well, you got like 3 options I can think of. One is you could give up altogether. That is an option. Some people take that and they end it all. Another option is to wait to go there until the pain of staying the same is totally unbearable, and I wait that long and I go in there. Or the third option is by faith to believe that even though I can't see all of this, I believe that it's better than here. And so I'm going to go there. Most of the time, the first time you do that, it usually takes, it's got to be that painful. But some people have the wisdom to go, you know what? I'm going to walk the process because God, I'm going to trust you that the peace and the healing and the wisdom and the strength and the maturity and the new normal, although it's not bliss, it's better than where I am, and I'm not going to end it all. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna go through the disorientation, and then I'm going to get revelation, and I'm gonna be reoriented, and then I'm gonna get this new normal. Now, the first time you do that, okay, it says the testing of your faith develops perseverance, but what does it say before that? It says this, you do this enough, consider it joy. What? How would I consider this joy? The way you consider this joy is when you walk this process of disorientation, orientation, new normal, and you start to see these things, these revelations come to you, the growth come to you. You start to, instead of being terrified of stepping into disorientation or terrified of taking this journey, God's faithfulness showing up in your life, the strength that's being produced, you start to consider it joy. You see opportunity. I see change as an opportunity, not something for me to zax up and stand there and only do when the highway is going over my head. I actually see this as an opportunity for growth. The process of change is a huge instrument that God will use in your growth. What does all of this mean? You know what all of this is? It's a story. It's your story. And here's the truth. This is not a one-time thing. This isn't like the Boy Scout, Girl Scout, like, I got the badge, man. I did the change thing that one time. He said the testing of your faith develops perseverance. And then he says, let perseverance finish its work so you'll be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If anyone lacks wisdom, you should ask God. Pray, process, persevere. And so when we think about the disciples in Mark 1, Jesus is inviting them into the training ground of change. And we're gonna see the next few weeks, I'm gonna show you how disoriented they're about to get. And he's gonna take them into disorientation, and through the process, they'll eventually be reoriented, and then they'll come into a new normal. But what I'm gonna tell you is when you see somebody who is strong, it's somebody who has story after story after story, year over year, situation over situation of walking this journey. Because here's what I'm gonna tell you, this whole process, this is what this produces. It produces strong, empathetic leaders. Strong, empathetic leaders. This is a muscle. You do this over and over again, you become strong. Empathetic, you know how hard this is. Whether I've walked a mile in your shoes or not, when I see you in disorientation, I know how hard it is to stick around in disorientation. I know how hard it is to come off the off-ramp and to go back into the disorientation, to come out of the denial and to bring in the truth back up. I know. So what does it create? It creates an empathy.